We that dreamed. We in nightmare. We that are one. Curse of the sun. We that fail.
Hey guys, Zizi here. I wanted to give you guys a bit of an update on this build and some of my future plans with it. I've realized how complicated this build can be to understand, so I'll more than likely be making another video going over how it all works together and why we chose certain things over others. For now, just to get the gist of it, I'll have a link down below to Skadoosh's FAQ, which has explanations on some of the interactions that we already use. To go over the changes that were made from the previous video, in the background you'll see a few attempts at T4-esh where I was testing for consistency issues, and I found that the duration of both Wither and Poison Cloud from Decompose did not fit this build's idea of being able to put damage down, forget it, and proceed to run circles around the boss and enemy. So what I've done is I removed these ES nodes here, heavy buffer, and I ended up allocating them to these preservation cluster here in order to give us a 45% increased skill effect duration. Now this takes our Decompose cloud from 5.8 seconds in the main hand, and then in our second weapon set brings us to 7.4 seconds. If you were to take persistence and put it into here, you're looking at a 10.36 second cloud duration, which is what you saw at the beginning of this video. You're more than likely better off using something else other than persistence for this, just because 10 seconds is a little overkill, and the whole point of this is to have Eye of Winter's wither duration, 8.12 seconds, closely resemble to Decompose's cloud duration of 7.4 seconds, and not have a big discrepancy. So this means you can freely weapon swap, a second late, and you'll still be more than fine, and you'll have your poison stacks stay at 8 stacks, and your wither stacks stay at the maximum number of wither. Now, you guys might think I'm insane or call me crazy for getting rid of more energy shield and dropping down to a very low number, about 2100, but if we take a look at Grim Feast, you get about 1023 energy shield every time that you collect an essence. Now, this is a load of survivability because you can actually generate it yourself by having it on both weapon slots here. So, having it on both weapon slots and killing your own minions, you'll gain your energy shield back. So taking a look here, it actually goes up and it's going up, and there you go. We're already at maximum energy shield. It didn't take too much, and you won't necessarily have a problem in mapping either with this because there's always Grim Feast essences laying around. I plan to have enough currency to push this build into the 200% movement speed range by this weekend with a few upgrades without sacrificing its defenses or even more of its damage, so stay tuned for that. And for my future plans, I'm sure that the super min-maxers out there with insane amounts of currency to throw around would love to hear about this. In order to take this build's damage to the moon, we would look into min-maxing the Timeless Jewel, right? Because what the Timeless Jewel does is not only does it give us increased evasion from this this keystone here, but it does also change the notable passives. So for example, if you could see here, War of Attrition used to be power conduction, which gives you increased shock duration and magnitude, but it's been changed to life leech, and the most important stat that we're looking at is increased magnitude of poisons that you inflict. So the one thing about this Timeless Jewel is that if we take it down here, it can roll this in particular, Summer Meadows, which gives you 15% increased evasion rating, and your minions have 30% increased maximum life. If you were to have 3 of these in range, or does even really need to be in range, as you can see about the War of Attrition here, you can get a ridiculous amount of minion life added on to your minions. Sorry for that Teams message there. And looking over how this happens is through Megalomaniac. So I'm not actually anointing this on my amulet. I still have lasting trauma on my amulet. So what I do to allocate these is to get Megalomaniac with power conduction and spiral into insanity. I couldn't really find anything better. I could maybe have done down here Master of Hexes to get more poison magnitude, but you know, you get what you get and what you can work with. So, but anyways, that's the whole point, right? You would get a bunch of summer meadows, and then you would look at which notables that they're assigned to, and get a megalomaniac to basically assign those for you, right? And yeah, on to the next thing is dynamism. So dynamism has an interesting line that says 40% increased damage if you've triggered a skill recently. Now every time we swap weapons, we actually do trigger our skills, plenty of skills for that matter, and so this should technically be a 40% increased damage outright to everything that is done. And then on to the next thing, Void. Void is quite a big damage increase as well. It's an extra -3 to chaos resistance, and it gives you a bunch of increased nodes. Now it's not that much, looking at about 50% increased chaos damage, which is okay. But the primary thing is this -3 to chaos resistance, which basically just gives us more damage as well. And then for the last thing is finding yourself a Trenchtimbre with +4 to level of all minion skills and using this in your offhand. Now if we were to take our Trenchtimbre and put it over here in our minion setup, we can actually see that our Skeletal Brute is hitting level 39. With a +4 you would hit the max level of 40. And you can see the maximum life is around 101,000. Imagine if we had those Summer Meadows nodes, you would probably be looking into the, 140,000, 160,000 plus. Like, you can scale this to the moon still. It's ridiculous. So, those are the things that I've been looking at for future, and yeah. I don't ever plan to stop updating this build, and I will make it a commitment to take it to its absolute peak, even for future updates. You may as well call me the new Pox for Path of Exile 2, as this is my righteous fire at this point. So stay tuned for more updates, and thank you friends. Hope you learned a few things. Don't be shy to comment any questions you might have down below, and take care. Till next time.